dedicated to you.
Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1. Let's start off with a look at your top stories for tonight.
Professionals, trade unions warn of strict action if the unjust tax regime is not withdrawn. Minister Bandula Gunawardena says Sri Lanka will not get IMF funds if taxes are not raised. Power outages to continue. Energy Secretary, PUCSL Chief summoned by the Human Rights Commission over power outages during advanced level period. Mihintale Thera issues strong statement to the President. Opposition leader condemns renewed attempts to delay the election. Nomination papers for Mount Lavinia contain fake signature of Dayasiri Jayasekara.
Taking a look at those stories now in detail. 15 organizations representing professionals in the public sector have warned that if the government does not withdraw the unjust tax regime, strict action will be taken following payday, which is tomorrow. These professional bodies have already declared a black protest week against the tax regime that they term as unjust.
The collective of professionals trade unions represented by multiple organizations including the Government Medical Officers Association, Federation of University Teachers Association, Ceylon Electricity Board Engineers Union and the Bank of Ceylon Employees Union convened a media briefing in Colombo. The Sri Lankan government has already decided to impose a tax regime of 6% to 36% on monthly earnings over 100,000 rupees from January 2023.
We have an ethical issue. The government's tax regime is a very serious matter. The country and the people are suffering at this time. We could have turned a blind eye to what is happening. We could have migrated, but we want them to understand this. If not, come next week, we will reach a decision. This is a warning to the government.
පසුව එන සතිය ඉතාම තීරණාත්මකයි කියන බවත් අපි ආණ්ඩුවට පැහැදිලිවම අනතුරු අඟවනවා. සමහර බැංකුවල සේවකයන්
The account of many bank employees will run dry after the tax imposed on the salary this month. We have been informed that 53 employees at one particular bank will suffer from this. We are highlighting this issue to the government. If the workers do not take home a salary after this tax is imposed, how are they going to survive? When we are democratically seeking a reasonable solution, the government is deploying the police and the military to suppress us. If that is the language the government understands, we will suspend all public and private operations and bring all the trade unions against the government.
මේ වෘත්තීය සමිති සියල්ල ඒ බෙහෙත් වට්ටෝරුව දෙන්නත් ආණ්ඩුවට සූදානමින් ඉන්නවා.
Trade unions also responded to the delay in paying the salaries of the executive grade officials in public service.
Tomorrow is the 25th and it is payday. Getting the salary on the due date is the right of every employee in the country. If all the public sector employees do not get their salaries tomorrow, we will take strict action from tomorrow. If an attempt is being made to use the salary issue to divert the attention of the general public, we will not hesitate to take strict action.
Several protests were held at hospitals across the country in support of the Black Protest Week. Staff at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital reported to work wearing black bands today. Signatures were also collected against the unjust tax policy of the government and the government's failure to solve the medicine shortage. The Government Medical Officers Association says that the government had disregarded their proposals on how to solve this issue and continues to burden the officials and the people. The general public, who are also severely affected by the medicine shortage, voiced their support for the protest.
I only got a small portion of the medicine I need. I have to buy the rest from the pharmacy. We are extremely helpless. It's difficult for us to even find food. If this continues, we are headed towards extreme poverty. We could have brought the medicine that we need and even have a cup of tea with 200 rupees. But now we need about 400 rupees to do all of that. We are waiting here in hunger and we don't even get the medicine that we need. I am speaking with a lot of sorrow. I need about 10,800 rupees to buy medicine for my heart disease and arthritis. It has been a year since my mother was diagnosed with cancer. I have no way of getting the medicine that she needs. I need 100,000 rupees to purchase her medicine every month. There are 7 types of medicine and it costs exactly 100,000 rupees.
The program to collect 1 million signatures demanding the government to solve the medicine shortage was conducted at the Mahamodara Teaching Hospital in Gaul.
The situation is such that even the surgeries at the Mahamodara Teaching Hospital is coming to a halt. The medicine shortage has severely affected us. This could lead to death as well.
This was the situation at the Colombo National Hospital.
The patients who come to government hospitals are helpless. That is why they come to the government hospitals. Now, even if they do come here, they will only get to meet the doctor and get a prescription. That is all.
Doctors and other staff members of the Kandy National Hospital wore black bands when they reported to work today.
The Federation of University Teachers Associations of the University of Ruhuna engaged in a silent protest.
They're trying to refill the empty treasury with the tax money. The innocent people and professionals are the scapegoats of this. It is not practical to fill up a treasury that has been bankrupt for years just overnight. For that, we will continue our actions together with all the professionals until this tax bill is defeated.
මේ බදු පනත පරාජය කරන තුරු අපේ ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ඉදිරියට ගෙනියනවා.
Ranil Wickremesinghe and Mahinda Rajapaksa do not have the people's mandate or voter base. So the election must be held immediately, and whichever government that comes into power must bring in a new tax policy.
Cabinet spokesperson Minister Bandula Gunawardena says that the new tax regime needs to be implemented in order to fulfill the IMF conditions.
ජාත්‍යන්තර මූල්‍ය අරමුදල මේ සාකච්ඡාවලදී ලංකාවට කියලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ ජනාධිපතිතුමා කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයටත් දැනුම්
The International Monetary Fund has told Sri Lanka, and the President also informed the Cabinet that everyone with a monthly income of more than 45,000 rupees should be taxed. The domain has been exempted from tax up to 100,000. We have nothing to hide from this. If we reduce these taxes and change the taxes, we will not be able to get this amount of money from the International Monetary Fund. This agreement will be void. In that case, if someone can tell us a system that can sustain our country for more than 2 weeks, we're ready to listen to it. We don't have that ability now. That is why structural adjustments have to be made by the International Monetary Fund. So while doing it, we have been given some rules to do these things. Now we are a person in critical condition and near death. We find it hard to bear the pain of vaccinations, but we will have to endure the pain in order to live a better life in the future. So we will have to take all the bitter medicines the IMF prescribes, as we have no other option.
නොගිල ඉන්න බෑ. මොකද වෙන විකල්පයක් අපිට නැති නිසා.
Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe said on Tuesday that Sri Lanka is committed to meeting all of its debt repayments and is hoping to complete debt restructuring negotiations in the next 6 months.
Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, speaking at an event titled Economic Outlook for 2023, said that there has been good progress with India, already pledging financial assurances, and Sri Lanka expects the assurances from China and Japan soon. India last week told the IMF that it strongly supports Sri Lanka's debt restructuring plan. Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe said once the IMF program is unlocked, then Sri Lanka will start specific debt restructuring negotiations with both commercial and bilateral lenders. However, he said that the biggest uncertainty is the time frame for the debt restructuring, adding that it is only after debt sustainability is assured that Sri Lanka can return to a sustainable growth path.
What is the official stand of China, if we may know?
Can I first comment on honorable members' first question on the
embassy? The letter is a fake one. Where did you get it? They used our logo, but there is no signature or seal. That's the reply from the embassy.
On the IMF program timing, the first question, what I can say, we were hoping to get the IMF program approved earlier, somewhere in December last year. Now we see we are closing to reach or obtain financing assurances from our creditors, if we get the complete assurances from all bilateral Paris Club, India already got it, and China, then probably we would be able to get the IMF program unlocked somewhere within the next month. That is the current expectation based on the latest developments. Creditors are supposed to give their assurances to the fund. So we are the third party as a debtor. So I think it is not appropriate for us to make any comment unless those two parties make the announcement publicly what they are communicating.
We are not a poor country, we are a middle income country. Responsibilities are great. We have had market taxes for a longer period of time, so they will be stricter relatively to the other countries. And if we are the first country that is been assessed, our debt sustainability is assessed under this new framework, you feel comfortable that we would be treated fairly.
It depends on the country-specific situation. What happens under this new framework is to derive what is appropriate debt targets in GFN, debt to GDP, and the forex debt service payment. Those are the three targets. I think bit of a sensitive information, and right now what we maintain is that we keep what we have been advised on the domestic debt restructuring since we started the process. Maintain the radio silence on that.
Yeah, we are not asking
but
for
we
any
have
information.
looked at the several scenarios. So we have
Any proposal from IMF?
no. This is up to us. There's no proposal from the IMF. No, only the condition on the IMF is to how we reach the debt target. What I can say, we are confident from the central bank point of view. We can maintain the stability of the banking system under any circumstances going forward. And banking sector will facilitate the intermediate process. The banks have been giving moratoriums for tourism sector almost 3 years, and some other sectors ended in about, I think, end of March or June, and on case-by-case basis. We have asked banks to consider giving them some relief, restructure their obligations. If there is a potential to recover, please support them. And there are recovery units. They are looking at all these things, but the kind of moratoriums are not a solution. Now, what we asking from our creditors, give us a relief. So why should they, from their taxpayers, sharing the relief that is given to Sri Lanka, unless we are also willing to contribute and share our contribution to that adjustment process? It has to be fair by both in terms of creditors those are going to give us a relief from their taxpayers, so their investment. We also show that our strong commitment to share our burden, share part of the burden, so that there's a fair burden sharing, both external shareholders, internal shareholders, and also internally we all will have to share on equal basis the pain in this process. That's will have to be understood. This is where the communication of this is important to all the public.
The 2-hour power cut has been extended by 20 minutes for Wednesday the 25th and Thursday the 26th. This extension comes while many factions continue to demand a suspension of power outages during the period in which the advanced level examinations are taking place.
As announced by the Public Utilities Commission on Monday, a power outage of 2 hours was in effect on Tuesday. However, the PUCSL said that the daily power outage for Wednesday and Thursday has been extended to 2 hours and 20 minutes. Accordingly, a 1 hour power cut will be in effect during the day, while a power outage of 1 hour and 20 minutes will be in effect at night.
This is not something we are doing willingly. The government knows very well that this is not something they should do in a situation where an election has been announced. The Minister of Power and Supply explained to the Cabinet yesterday that in order to supply electricity continuously continuously throughout the 14 days of the advanced level examination, we need 5 billion rupees because the country cannot endure such a massive expense. He has made arrangements to not have power cuts until 4 p.m. on those days. What wrong have the children done to these people? The authorities make it impossible for the children to do any final revision because of power cuts. The Minister of Power and Energy is taking revenge on the students. It is not his decision that are being executed. These decisions are being made by thieves who are behind all of this. Recently, 2 cabinet ministers were appointed. More are to be appointed in the future. From where can we find the money to maintain them? Don't try to fool us. President Wickremesinghe, you became president by hiding behind the Aragalaya. Once you retire, you can enjoy the perks of a former president too. You would not have been able to become the president of the country if not for the Aragalaya. You can still stand with the people. If you don't, your fate will be worse than Gotabe's. Hope you remember what happened to Gaddafi. The ministry says that although the advanced level examination is being held, power will have to be disrupted for a few hours. This is very unfortunate. This is happening because the electricity board does not have the funds to get their fuel supply. In that case, cut down the unnecessary expenses. An expense that will be of no use to the citizens is the 75th independence celebration. Except for the leaders who are eager to receive salutes of the 3 armed forces, no one else finds such a celebration important.
The Human Rights Commission has decided to launch an investigation into the non-implementation of the directives given to prevent power cuts during the period of the A-level examination. Sri Lanka's Power and Energy Secretary and the Chairman of the Public Utilities Commission were informed to appear for an inquiry at the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka on Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. The summons were sent as the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka has observed that its directive to the Power and Energy Secretary and the Chairman of the PUCSL to take necessary measures to prevent power outages during the period of the A-level examinations had been disregarded. The spokesperson for the Samaga United Trade Union Balavegiya, Ananda Palitha, and Secretary of the Electricity Users Association, Dhammika Sanjeeva, who visited the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka recently to inquire about the attempt to hike electricity tariffs, were arrested on Monday night and produced in court on Tuesday. They were charged with criminal influence and were remanded till the 26th of January 2023 by Fort Magistrate Tilinegamage. Case was filed against them for protesting against the members of the PUCSL during a protest opposite the PUCSL in Colombo.
The truth is that the tariff hike is against the Electricity Act. The rulers are joking around. A journalist had made a false complaint about a death threat. The arrest was pre-planned. It must be made clear that they were presented based on the request made by the PUCSL. Thereafter, what was discussed in the elevator was used as part of this conspiracy. The arrest was made using the police. No matter what view they maintain, they spoke against the electricity tariff hike. We are against this negative precedent where people who speak for the rights of the people are imprisoned. They spoke on behalf of the public and they are trying to silence them. We condemn this act. They visited the Public Utilities Commission to make an inquiry. However, the arrest is on obstruction of duties. The situation is such that the people cannot even question the heads of institutions. This is a deterioration of democracy. There is a rift between the government and the Public Utilities Commission. It is similar to that of a rift between the government and the Election Commission. There are rifts among multiple factions of the government.
A writ application was filed with the Court of Appeal on Tuesday, seeking an order to invalidate the Cabinet decision to impose an electricity tariff hike with effect from the 1st of January 2023. It was filed by several factions including the Electricity Users Association, its Secretary Dhammika Sanjeeva, the Centre of Environmental Justice, its Executive Director Hemantha Vitanage, the Minister of Power and Energy, the CEB, the Cabinet of Ministers, among others, were named as respondents.
The Kesalvatha police on Tuesday withdrew a B report that it filed with court regarding a group of lawyers who protested opposite the Hulsdorf Magistrates Court on the 18th of January this year. Among the attorneys named in the B report were Gunaratna Vandinayaka, Nuwan Bopage and Senaka Pereira. Sri Lanka Police filed the B report with the court, and Colombo Chief Magistrate Prasanna Alvis, upon considering the report, ordered Sri Lanka Police to inquire into the matter and produce a report. However, when the matter was taken up at the magistrate's court, the police informed the magistrate that they will be withdrawing the B report that was filed. Speaking in open court, President's Counsel Kalinga Indathissa, appearing for the attorneys named in the B report, said that every Sri Lankan has a right to protest under the Constitution of Sri Lanka and that this fundamental right is inalienable. He said that non-violent protests are an integral part of a functioning democracy. President's Counsel Kalinga Indathissa also informed the magistrate that an attorney who was named in the B report was not even in Sri Lanka on the day of the protest.
Minister of Public Security Tiran Alas says that everyone should work together to crack down on drugs and combat the criminal underworld.
A nationwide conference for police OICs and state-appointed officers was held on Monday. Secretary to the Ministry of Public Affairs, Vyani Gunatilaka, Inspector General of Police, C.D. Vikramaratne, and Chief of the State Intelligence Service, Major General Suresh Thale, participated in this event.
We're expecting something from you. The biggest problem we have is the drug menace. We have to stop it somehow. Some police officers are also involved in this. Some police officers are being bribed. So that needs to be stopped immediately. Do not associate with people who sell drugs. I am getting the full support of the government intelligence. With their help, I will investigate everything. Although I am referring to only a handful of officers, I have to address all of you. Starting today, our target should be drugs and the underworld that are the root cause for crime. We have to end this somehow.
අද ඉඳලා මේක තමයි අපේ ටාගට් එක drugs and underworld. ඒක ඇතුළෙම තමයි crimes උත් එන්නේ. අපි මොන ක්‍රමයකින් හරි මේක නවත්තන්න.
Will the Election Commission receive the money they need to conduct the election? We'll bring you the details after this short commercial break.
News First, main sponsor.
Durden's Hospital, dedicated to you. Experience the best in healthcare at Durden's Hospital's new Alfred Place wing. We continue to evolve into a purpose-built hospital of the future, with an ambience built to deliver world-class care. Durden's Hospital, dedicated to you.
The Elections Commission has sent a written request to the Ministry of Finance inquiring if funds required for the local government election can be provided or not.
The Election Commission says that its chairman has forwarded the letter inquiring about the matter to the Secretary of the Ministry of Finance. It is estimated that the cost of the upcoming local government election will be 10 billion rupees. The Election Commission states that this letter requests the Ministry of Finance to provide a detailed explanation whether the amount of money can be made available or not.
We have informed the National Election Commission and the court that we are facing a challenge in terms of the election. The CEB cannot provide electricity. The SLTB will have to provide buses for election activities. Fuel is still being issued based on the QR system, and the fuel allocation for election officers will anyways be limited. This is the worst economic crisis faced by any government in post-independent Sri Lanka.
SJB candidate for the post of Mayor of Colombo filed a petition with the Supreme Court seeking a ruling that the circular issued by Home Affairs Secretary Neil Bandarahapuhina on suspending the acceptance of bonds had violated his fundamental rights. 35 factions, including the Secretary to the Cabinet, the Secretary of the Ministry of Provincial Councils and Local Government, Neil Bandarahapuhina, the Cabinet of Ministers, the Attorney General and the Chairman of the Election Commission have been named as respondents. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa revealed today that another strategy is being used to postpone the local government elections.
There is a rumor that they are trying to weaken the election process by changing the members of the Elections Commission in the Constitutional Council that will meet tomorrow. I want to very clearly state that the Samagi Jana Balavegia will be taking legal action against the Hapu in the drama and the conspiracy of the Secretary of the Treasury. If the people's sovereignty is violated, what is the punishment for that offence? It is very clearly mentioned in the law books of the country. I would also like to stress that if the government tries to sabotage the upcoming election at tomorrow's Constitutional Council meeting, we will definitely defeat that conspiracy. Hence, we'd like to inform all responsible people in the Constitutional Council, don't include all of these tactics to postpone the election in your agenda. Don't touch the members of the Elections Commission. We from the Samagi Jana Balavegia are dedicated to protect the chairman of the Elections Commission and his officials.
මැතිවරණ කොමිසමේ නිලධාරීන් සියලුම දෙනා සුරකින්නට සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ අපි සැදී පැහැදී සිටිනවා.
The secretaries of the political parties contesting the local government elections and representatives of independent groups were summoned to the Election Commission today. The maximum limit for funds that can be spent by the candidates as per the Campaign Finances Act were discussed and basic agreements have been reached.
Each candidate dedicates about 15 rupees per voter. The total price is determined by the amount of votes he gets in the local government election. Within 21 days after the end of the election, the candidate and political parties who are contesting should submit an audited statement including all their expenses. If it is proven that he has spent beyond the limit of money, he can be removed from his office by court.
After the meeting, the representatives of the political parties expressed their views to the media.
A unanimous resolution of the party secretaries was passed to dissolve the existing local government bodies. There is a reason for that. The members of existing local government bodies receive salaries. They take salaries and contest the elections. The commission has proposed 60% per party. We think that the party should be able to spend 10 rupees per voter.
The national organizer of the Sri Lanka Putujana Peramuna, Basil Rajapaksa, visited the temple of the Sacred Tooth relic in Kandy and received blessings.
Not everywhere, but at majority of the electorates, we are contesting as two different parties. We will contest for the 252 local bodies under the SLPP. There are some cases where we will contest under different symbols. For instance, in Jaffna, we will contest under the symbol of the harp. For Batticaloa and the East, we will be contesting under the symbol of the boat. In some areas, we will contest under the symbol of the horse or even the tea leaf. There are 340 local government bodies. The General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Dayasiri Jayasekara, lodged a complaint to the Criminal Investigations Department today, saying that the Sri Lanka Freedom Party has submitted nominations to the Dehiwala Mount Lavinia Municipal Council by forging his signature. This forged nomination paper was submitted when the Sri Lanka Freedom Party had already submitted nominations to contest for Dehiwala Mount Lavinia under the Freedom People's Alliance.
A nomination list has been submitted with a forged signature of mine on it. Therefore, I made a complaint to the CID to identify who forged my signature and who is behind this. And I must say that I have no connection with this list that was submitted.
It's been 13 years since the disappearance of journalist Prageet Iknaligoda. His spouse engaged in a religious ritual at the Mutwal Kali Kovil seeking justice.
Veteran journalist Prageet Iknaligoda's wife engaged in a similar plea a year ago today. And today, she once again visited the Kali Kovil seeking justice.
Those witnesses that knew all the facts are now lying. I came here for my husband today. The culprits should be punished before this 13th year ends. Justice must be served. Those corrupt officers should be punished in order for me to end my journey.
Retired Major Attorney Ajit Prasanna was found guilty by the Supreme Court on Tuesday for contempt of court. He was sentenced to 4 years, rigorous imprisonment, and also fined 300,000 rupees.
A contempt of court case was filed with the Supreme Court claiming that retired Major General Ajit Prasanna had made a comment in contempt during an interview with a YouTube channel on the 19th of January 2020. The Supreme Court ordered the Attorney General to also take strict disciplinary action against retired Major General Ajit Prasanna, who is also an attorney.
Sri Lanka is seeking to boost relations with Saudi Arabia through connectivity, investment, and employment opportunities.
Sri Lankan Foreign Minister Ali Sabri began a visit to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and is seeking to boost relations with Saudi Arabia through connectivity, investment and employment opportunities. Ali Sabri is scheduled to meet with Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan during the official trip, as well as senior officials from the Islamic Development Bank, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the Gulf Cooperation Council. Improving bilateral relations was important for Sri Lanka, the minister told news outlets, adding that the kingdom was a very influential member of the international community, especially in the Islamic world and due to its membership in the group of 20 biggest economies.
Over 200 school children in Sri Lanka over 200 schools in Sri Lanka are to receive Australian funding via FAO to build entrepreneurial school gardens to uplift the nutritional security of children.
Over 200 schools will receive funding from Australia via Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations to build entrepreneurial school gardens in the North, Central and Over provinces to support nutritional security among children. The Entrepreneurial School Gardens program, implemented as a part of a project funded by the Australian government totaling over $2.3 million, is aimed at improving the food and nutritional security of groups most affected by the ongoing economic crisis, particularly women and children. The program features a discovery-based learning approach for over 100,000 secondary school students from grade 8 to 12, where they will be educated on the capacity to transform their school gardens into sources of nutritious produce that will facilitate diverse and healthy eating habits and encourage students to apply entrepreneurial thinking into agriculture. The Agriculture Club in each school will be empowered to operate as a co-program partner that will oversee the coordination and navigation of the program alongside school officials.
The ceremonial keel laying of the second environment-friendly bulk carrier produced by Colombo Dockyard PLC took place on Monday.
Colombo Dockyard PLC on Monday the 23rd delivered Miss J. Verde 5000 DWT Eco Bulk carrier for Miss J Eco Bulk AS Norway. This is the second vessel built for Miss J Eco Bulk AS Norway, with the first one delivered in September of 2022. Colombo Dockyard signed shipbuilding contracts with the Miss J Eco Bulk AS, a Norwegian company, in March of 2020 for 4 vessels and in December 2021 for another 2 vessels, and reservation of dock slots for additional 4 vessels in September of 2022. This is the second vessel of the series, and this 89.95 meter long vessel is designed to hold a cargo capacity of 5000 DWT. The type of cargo it could carry includes bulk cargo, grain, timber, unit loads and containers. These vessels are designed to be sustainable and climate friendly with lower emissions compared to conventional bulk carriers of the same size.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. The science fiction comedy drama starring Michelle Yeoh and Jamie Lee Curtis received 11 nominations for the 95th Academy Awards that were announced on Tuesday.
California, please welcome the president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, Janet Yang.
All Quiet on the Western Front and The Banshees of Inisherin followed with 9 nominations each. Nominations for Best Picture are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fablesman, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangle of Sadness and Women Talking. Nominees for Best Actor are Austin Butler in Elvis, Colin Farrell in Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser in The Whale, Paul Mescal in After Sun and Billy Nye in Living. Nominees for Best Actress are Cate Blanchett in Tar, Ana de Armas in Blonde, Andrea Riseborough in To Leslie, Michelle Williams in The Fablesman, and Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once. In the coveted category of Best Director, the nominees are Martin McDowell for The Banshees of Inisherin, Daniel Scheinert and Daniel Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg for The Fablesman, Todd Field for Tar, and Ruben Östlund for The Triangle of Sadness. The 95th Academy Awards will be held on the 12th of March at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood to celebrate the winners selected by the members of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in. Until we meet again, take care and God bless.